I've worked at a place where they've had a team softball team that they wouldn't let women play on.
This is not about God. This is not about eternal salvation. This is about protecting a woman's right to make an informed choice about her body.
I mean, you may not agree with what I have to say, and we may not agree on certain things politically. That doesn't mean you can't support one another.
Cheers and welcome to episode 14 of Fuck Your Podcast. I'm Emma Pardo.
And I'm Katie Martin. And welcome. And welcome to today's podcast, where we're going to gripe for a good 30 minutes about being a woman. Not really. Not really a gripe. Like, taking it seriously. Like, the couple things that have come up fairly recently, like, you know, we could talk about leadership, being a woman in leadership, being a woman in entrepreneurship,
just being a woman in general.
Just being a woman right now, like, in the world, and the crazy shit that's going on, and how our grandchildren are going to end up being handmaids in the Republic of Gilead pretty soon. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
But
well, what recently,
I digress.
What recently has gone on?
You said that you had something happen. Like,
I had something recently that made me feel, and Cole even noticed it too. We were out to dinner a couple months ago, maybe a month and a half, and the waiter that we had, he wasn't even our waiter. He like gave us the chips in the beginning, like kind of like the refresher guy in the beginning.
Yep.
And he was asking us our orders or if we wanted drinks. Yeah. And he would not make eye contact with me and he would not address me. He was asking Cole what my order was, basically. Like, Cole was wondering why I started to speak up and was answering. I answered what Cole wanted to drink too, because I knew immediately when he would not look at my direction at all and he wanted to hear from Cole. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't necessarily like feel super disrespected, but I was like,
enough to where it was noticeable.
Yes. And Cole even said something too. He goes, "Oh, is that why you were, like answering for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was going to make him address me, basically." Right. He was looking for Cole. And then the rest of the dinner, when he would stop by to see if we needed more chips or refills on our drinks, he would only address Cole. So it just continued on from there. And I don't know if it was a disrespect thing. I don't know if it was a culture thing, but whatever it was, I was like, hey, like, I'm here too. You're not just going to go over me because you don't want to look me in the eye.
Right. I've had that happen. There was something that happened recently. I can't remember, but that was kind of what we had this on the podcast list, but I was like, let's go ahead and record it. And then I can't remember the fucking instance. Like, I need to take notes or something, but just, I don't know if I've ever felt more like a woman being put in her place until I was in the business coaching world. And to his credit, most of the time, those instances in a public setting never came from John. So like he never I don't feel like he ever intentionally did that. And I wouldn't even say that he did something that was unintentionally. However, I could say that in that circle, I've never been, and this could be a little bit with the roofing industry, but I can tell you the dynamic of the roofing industry and the women in the roofing industry has drastically changed over the last 10 years. So I don't even really think it's as much of from other coaches, like breaking into that circle. Now, could it have been something that could it have been the way that I presented myself? It very well could have been. But because my personality, I am who I am. And the more that I tried to fake being like those guys, like, I just didn't like myself. Like, I am more of the helpful. I mean, if you want to call me, like, I've been called an assistant, a secretary, like the office girl in the
so funny
in the coaching world, not just like in the construction world, but like I've been referred to, like, to my face, and I'm thinking, well, it's not how, like, I might do some of those tasks or have some of those responsibilities, right? But to the point where the way they were flippant about it was disrespectful. So when you hear men talk about women having to like assert themselves, and how somebody who's called assertive over here in the male world and then somebody over here in the female world is called a bitch, like, that shit's real. Yeah. Now, does it bother all of us to our core all of the time? No. But it's kind of, I mean, I imagine it's worse for someone of another race, you know, because that shit still exists. So it's like saying
sadly, yes,
sexism doesn't exist is like saying racism doesn't exist anymore. Like that's just not true. And I'm not trying to compare, you know, the sexism of being a white woman in comparison to somebody being treated disrespectfully from a racist standpoint. I'm not saying that those compare. I'm just saying there are some similarities in certain circles, you know, that it's like, well, fuck, man, like that came across kind of blatant. Like that's not all right. And so yeah, do you feel like sometimes you have to, and this is that delicate balance of, and I posted about this today, if you feel as if you have to prove yourself, it diminishes your worth. So can you imagine like the fucking psychological gymnastics that you have to do on a regular basis and trying to toe the line of proving yourself when you're a grown-ass adult with results and things that you have done, and where you start to slowly diminish your value.
Right.
And that cycle, that's hard. Like that's a daily thing I have to work on. A daily fucking thing because of that. So if you want to say like being in that circle of men has been traumatic, no. But it makes you very conscious of it.
Yeah.
So, and
definitely.
And I imagine that women, regardless of the industry, get put in that position on a fairly regular basis.
Absolutely.
Or even being a woman and being younger, like you feel like you have to, or younger people in general, having to prove yourself because you don't have 20 years of experience, you know, and you don't. It's like, I have a skill that I can apply and help you solve a problem, regardless of how old you are or the gender or whatever. Like I can solve X problem. So, but yeah, I can't imagine. There's a whole list of, I'm sure, other things that women have had harder. But I mean, you hear in the corporate world, you hear it in the corporate world a lot, but that shit still happens in small business.
Absolutely. 100%. Well, it happens at the bowling alley all the time, and that's one location. Like, it's a great business, but like that's as close to small business as you get. And since bowling was the man's thing to get out of the house, and this is what I can relate it to because that's what I dealt with for X amount of years. And my mom, even worse, she dealt with that being
the owner,
co-owner of the bowling alley with my stepdad, and being referred to as the owner's wife. Like, there's plenty of times where we've all, like my stepdad included, have cut people off like that are like, oh, the owner's wife, or she's Brad's wife. You know, it's like, no, she's the fucking owner of this establishment.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's more powerful than you think as far as it goes with this business. And with bowling being the man's sport to get out of the house way back when it was extremely popular, and women being involved in this sport. Thinks on the subject. There's an old men's league that bowls at the bowling alley, and I remember there was 2 women that had signed up for the league. And it wasn't necessarily a men's league, but they didn't specify if it was just men's or if it was mixed or just women's. You know, they let 2 women join on a team, and by the end of the season they were saying, we need to close this off to just men. Those women are distracting, those women are this, those women are that. And it was, they didn't even do anything. They didn't do anything wrong. They weren't disruptive. They weren't distractive. Like, and it was just crazy how close-minded that generation was. Even though I love those men dearly, like they're great people. It's just some like aspects of it start to poke through, and you really see their age on it, and it's frustrating. I didn't say anything to those women about it, but it was just like, who are you to
I would say anything? Well, I had something similar to that. I'll tell you, one of my very first jobs, and this was like, I don't even know if we were actually old enough to work. I think so. A lot of us it was like going into high school, like your early, either the summer between like your 8th grade and your freshman year, or your freshman year and your sophomore year. The park and rec would hire kids to be umpires at the city rec league baseball and softball games. So I mean, this isn't competitive. This is, if you live in the city, you can pay $20 and you can play t-ball, softball, slow pitch softball, and baseball. You know, park and rec. There's three little towns where I grew up, and we all played. It was called the Tri-City League, and a lot of us, myself and a lot of my friends, we refereed 2 summers, and they hired us. You know, and back then they still kept it fairly segregated, meaning the girls had to umpire the softball games and the boys umpired the baseball games.
Okay.
We worked a lot of Saturdays in the middle of the summer. It was really fucking hot. And I know this now from coaching or helping coach high school kids or college kids. You're at the mercy of their parents' vacation schedules.
Okay.
So we didn't really have a whole lot of issue with, like, back then with kids just flaking out, because most of them were athletes. They were committed to the sport, whatnot. But you would have a Saturday where you might be shorthanded because so and so is actually playing baseball on their summer,
right?
Or you might have, like we had camps or practices or vacations or whatnot. So anyway, there was one instance where I was already at the park. And so when we were done with our games, we would go to the concession stand, and that's where all the coaches could get something to drink and whatnot. And one of my friends, guy I was really good friends with, he comes over and he's like, "Hey, so and so I don't think is showing up to be my base coach."
Okay.
And he's like, "I need somebody." And I'm like, "Well, I'll do it." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, I'll do behind the plate. I just need, an umpire in the field." And so I believe that this is a long time ago. However, things were going on, calls were made, and I don't even necessarily know if there was like a bad call, but I mean, I'm 14 years old.
Right.
And we were playing against this team who the parents were like known in the city to coach their kids. They had daughters that played softball and they had sons that played baseball. These fucking parents, they knew who I was. And that I played softball against their daughter. And because of things not going the way that, and them mouthing off, I was just like, and I finally had to say, "Hey, like, lay off." And they're like, "What are you gonna do? You have no business umpiring a baseball game." I'm like, "It's baseball versus softball. Like,
right.
Rules aren't all that different." And so, but yeah, these were grown ass people, like, attacking a 13-year-old kid. A 13-year-old girl, 14, however, I was 14 or 15, because she shouldn't be out here umpiring a baseball game. And so, I don't know. And that was probably like the first time where I was like, "That's fucked up." Like, you're a grown-ass adult. And so there wasn't really a ton, and I never sold like roofing full-time to get that experience of like the rare insurance adjuster that would show up at a job site and be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And they typically don't even act like that anymore. It's pretty rare. You would have to, like, again, you show up in like somebody's 60 years old and you're in your 20s to where they would even say something like that. But that was the one time that I remember experiencing like blatant sexism, made to feel like I was stupid or inadequate because I was female. And I never felt that way for the remainder of my career, which has changed drastically over the years, until I was in business coaching. And until I worked with other mindset coaches. And and I'm telling, like, I'm not going to name names because there would be some people that wouldn't be shocked.
Right.
Like, there's certain people out there that have a fairly public persona, that if I were to say, "Hey, yeah, like, this guy was a misogynistic piece of shit," most people would go, "Oh, well, yeah, I mean, have you watched his videos?" So, but I mean, to the point where they, even behind like the bullshit that they preach, they fucking treat people like that behind closed doors.
Right.
But yeah, it's and like I said, I'm not talking about John, because he never did anything blatant like that.
Right.
There were plenty of women that he hired, and he never did anything like that to me. And I don't really know of just the blatant, "You're a woman, so you're stupid." I don't recall him ever doing anything like that. So it's not him, it's people we met within those circles. So it's people that he knows, and it's just like, especially when you're in your 40s or like your late 30s, early 40s, it's like, who the fuck are you? Like,
so I was gonna say,
prove, like, to where I have to prove myself to you, like, get fucked.
So, and my mom could probably speak on this better than I could, because she's experienced it a lot. I remember, and this is not that long ago, like within the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
So not super long ago, she had a list of things that she needed to get from Lowe's for work.
Yeah.
And she walked into Lowe's with her list of things, and my mom asked whoever it was working, like, can you point me in the direction of this, or like, what aisle is this? I forget exactly what the question was, and I don't know if he didn't understand her, but she said he sighed or did something like dramatic and was like, let me see what they sent you here for. And she was like,
excuse me?
Basically like, hand over your list, let me see what they sent you here for. They meaning men.
The man.
And she is like, I am no longer continuing my project at Lowe's. Like, I'll take my stuff to Home Depot.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think let me see if I can find this post, because she posted it on Facebook. And then there was another situation at work at the bowling alley. They were getting something done with their air conditioning or something with the ducts of the bowling alley. And they were trying to locate a certain part of the duct, I think.
Yeah.
And my mom kept telling him, she's like, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here. Yeah. And they're like, no, they weren't listening to her. And this is one of my mom's most iconic moments. She goes back into her office. She takes a piece of paper. She draws a dick on it. She clips it to her shirt, and she points back in the same spot. She's like, it's right here. Like, are you going to take me serious now that I have a dick? Like, it's right here. And what do you know? She was right.
Yeah, no shit.
She's just like, she doesn't deal with it. She's like, I know my shit, so like, step off.
Yeah, I would say like it's never gotten me upset, like where I've like, it's not like it's made me cry or anything, but it's when it's noticeable.
Oh, I'm just kidding. She messed up at Home Depot.
Oh, she messed up.
They messed up at Home Depot.
Okay.
She went to Lowe's. It was one of the.
So we apologize, Lowe's.
We're sorry, Lowe's. Okay, so this was back in 2019.
Yeah.
She said, and she posted this on Home Depot's wall. So power to my mother.
Oh, wow.
She said, I went into a Home Depot today and placed an order for building materials. After waiting for 3 employees to finish a personal conversation about somebody that broke some bones, literally 10 minutes, one worker strolled over to the counter to help me. When I told him which materials I wanted to order and have delivered to my job site, he reached for the papers in my hand and said, let me see what they sent you with. She said I was holding the SKU numbers for doors that I needed as well. I had a very simple order of 34 sheets of 4x10 quarter-inch drywall. I didn't stammer. I didn't ask for help with verifying what I needed. Just curious if that would have been the case if I were a man and wearing a Carhartt jacket. I found the experience to be ridiculous, terrible customer service skills, and I will be completing my project at Lowe's from now on. So sorry, Lowe's. She went to you. We support Lowe's.
Right. It's poor Lowe's.
So she doesn't deal with it. She is like, she dealt with it enough in the beginning stages of the bowling alley, being that this was a standing business that she owned. I know she's had other businesses that she's ran in the past, but like, I was way too young to even remember.
Yeah.
But starting the bowling alley and it being a men's sport or a man-dominated industry, she's still to this day, people won't consider her an owner because she's a woman, and she's always the owner's wife, and it's not everybody. It's every once in a while there's going to be somebody that says something, but it's still like, it's an insult. She's just as much accountable and responsible for all of the great things that they've done to that place, and she doesn't get half the credit she deserves.
Yeah, I mean, at least she has the support, like of your stepdad and all of you guys that have worked there. And I'm sure some of the regulars,
definitely.
There's plenty of customers there that know that. So and I've had that come up. I've had that come up with some clients correct some people in a public setting because they've said something like that.
Yeah,
and like that part of it feels good,
right?
And I've also, like, another instance too. Like I've worked within a company where you have like the boys club and they're always going and doing, or I've worked at a place where they've had a softball team they wouldn't let women play on.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, absolutely not. I'm like, we can't be in a co-ed league. They're like, no. And I'm like, so the company's going to sponsor this and everybody's okay with it? So, but yeah, to where like they wouldn't do a co-ed league. They're like, no, don't think so. But there've been other instances, and I guess because for the most part, unless it's been something really noticeable to where it like turns my fucking stomach, I've let most of it roll off my back, which I think most women have to.
Yeah.
Because there are certain instances where it's like, I mean, if you don't mean anything to me, I don't have anything to prove to you. And I'm not even talking about I'm talking about shit that's happened directly to me. Like, it sucks if it happens to somebody else, but I can't fight everybody else's battles either. So I'm not talking about like just shit that you see publicly. I'm talking about like things that have directly happened to me. And for the most part, you do have to let let a lot of it ride. And are there still disadvantages? Sure. And this is the fucked up thing. Do they automatically assume, or do you get people where you're like, well, no, I own a business, and they're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, we own a business. It's a female ran business. Like,
and it's doing better than your male owned business. Yeah. Just kidding. That was so petty, but
no. Well, I mean, it's like, well, sometimes it's not even somebody that you're like, it's not even somebody that you would be comparing to, but it's just like, they're like, oh,
yeah, it's one of those things. And
you're just like, that's dumb.
I've always loved this saying where it's like, I'm sorry that my vagina intimidates you, but like, just know this is what it is. Like, yeah. Ugh, being a woman.
Yeah. And then in general, again, I see some of the stuff, like we could go down a whole other rabbit hole of politics. So I'm going to probably choose to avoid some of that.
Well, yeah, and this is not like, we're not saying this with the intent that men are bad. This is just instances that us as women have dealt with from certain male or even female people, that have those beliefs that don't understand the strength of individuals. It's not just a man's job. It's not just a woman's job. If you've got the skill and you've got the knowledge, it's your job, Oh
yeah. Don't think that like that shit's not come from women before.
That shit comes from women.
Oh man, it does. And just unfortunately, sometimes it's even more vicious or like snotty.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, for the love of God, like you got to band together. I had somebody tell me, I'm a member of a women's networking group, and I had a client point out, oh, that's awfully like, he goes, well, that's a double standard. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, do you think if we had a men's only networking group that the people would be okay with that? I'm like, well, shit still exists.
Yeah, like
there's private clubs, there's business fraternities. They do exist, but just because this one is specifically for women, and here's the thing, those aren't differentiated as they're a men's networking group. It's just a fucking networking group or whatever it is. The women are the ones that have to like be a part of a community and join together because there's always obstacles, boundaries. But
it's less likely to happen to men than it is to women.
Right.
And that's not just opinion. It happens to both. That's the thing that's so frustrating, is that when you explain something like this, people think that you're secluded to just the one sex, right? Yeah. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
It just so happens that it's more than likely men and women tearing down women than it is men and women tearing down men.
Right.
It's been like that since
the beginning of time.
Oh, that's the end. The beginning. I mean, the beginning of time. It's been like that because men have set that standard for themselves without consulting the rest of the group.
So things we need to pay attention to over the course, like this election is going to be very interesting. And here's the thing, like, you can't tell me, I don't know, and I could be naive, like this could be my naive view. Justin and I debate about this all the time. Mm-hmm. The super left or the super right, like regardless of what side you're on, that has to be a small percentage. Like it just has to be. Okay. Like the people that are super extreme on either side, that has to be a small percentage. It's just, we hear them now. Like the internet gave all the crazies a voice.
Yeah.
It gives all the crazy people, like, it doesn't matter what side they're on. Now the internet has given them a voice.
Cole and I were watching, what's his name? It's a comedian. He'd be able to tell me. And he had a whole joke, but it was kind of serious. Like, the internet has given all of these people their
it's probably way. Bill Burr. I heard
he's got the accent.
Oh no, Jim Jeffries.
Oh, let me see. Who is it?
What accent? Australian? That's Jim Jeffries. A Boston accent? That's Bill Burr.
No, it wasn't Bill Burr.
Okay, but I think he said that too on a not a podcast, but one of his specials recently about like the internet's one of the worst things to ever happen to the human race. It's true.
Let me see who it was. Oh, if I see a picture.
We're saying that as we're recording a podcast.
Right. The thing is it's true. Like the internet has given that source to the crazies. Mm-hmm. If they have a certain thing, if you're a grown adult, you want to act like a baby, literally, not like, oh, you're throwing a tantrum. No, like literally, your lifestyle identifies with that of someone who cannot go to the bathroom properly. There's like websites for you out there.
Yeah.
If you are a human that genuinely thinks that they are an animal, there's a place for you.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's a wrong thing, but it's just we're exposed to it more.
Yeah. And when we were talking about politics, like we were talking about like the Trump cult.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not as big as you think it is. And he's like, oh yeah, it is. I'm like, it can't be as big as you think it is. But you know, it's stuff like that. Like, and I'm trying to remember like the direction I was going with this. Like
the Trump cult.
Well, yeah, the Trump cult. Like they can't be there can't be that many people. But anyway, what I was talking about was like the climate of politics. Like what's going to be interesting about this election is you've got fucking Ron DeSantis passing law after law after law
I just
after
watched
law.
Footloose the other day. Speaking of, I just watched Footloose the other day.
Yeah. Passing a law every single day, like just taking away something. And here you can agree or disagree with what he's doing, but he's taking away shit. Right. And it's not, I mean, if you're okay with it because it's taking away rights from a marginalized group, you know, you're probably a piece of shit. But it's a slippery slope. Like it's
specific attacks.
But they're coming. Like that isn't going to be, and that's what people don't. How do they not see it? How can you not look at all of the evidence in fucking history and not see the direction that this is going? Like, how do you not? And I'm not saying like Joe Biden's the answer, for fuck's sake. No.
Oh no.
Like no. Like,
but listen, everybody, if we all join together in the middle as a united group, we can't teeter one side or the other.
Right. But here's the thing of like, historically, the government, like a system of government doesn't survive more than maybe 200 years.
Right. And we're coming up
past that. We're past that.
Oh, we are?
Yeah. 200 to 250 years. Yeah. We're past that.
Okay.
So something is going to happen.
Right.
But here's the crazy thing. If you watch what Ron DeSantis is doing, it's like, it's a slippery slope between, it's like, hey, women, you know, I mean, I get, we've already criminalized anything, including like, I don't know if they just passed the one that's like abortion's now a felony. Like, I can't fucking keep up. But
I think also what's ridiculous is the investigation for miscarriage. Like, women are grieving or pregnancy.
Bro, you live in fucking Texas.
I know.
You realize?
I know I live in Texas. And
they're following suit. They used to be the front runner in bullshit laws like that.
I know, but you have to understand the situation I'm in. Run away. No. Well, anyway.
Can't yet. But
the investigation of miscarriages and all that stuff, I could go on for days about
that. But if you're a woman, unless you're just a straight white woman married to a fucking bazillionaire, then I guess you don't give a fuck. But if you're everybody else of the female genre, you should be fucking scared of what could happen in the next 4 years. And if the trend continues, what could happen in the next 10? Like, would it necessarily affect my way of life? No, but I'm terrified for my kids. I'm terrified for my grandkids. And if you think being a woman in the United States is going to get any easier right now, probably not.
Signs point to no.
There's a backswing coming, and it's been coming since like 2016.
Yeah. I just I don't know if it was just the innocence of my age. You know, I'm only 25, but like before 2016, I feel like politics were not as crazy as they are now.
No,
like politics are fucking crazy, but like,
well, I think it's like part of it's like just not it not being broadcast like it is.
Yeah.
I think that's
I learned that in media studies. That's what I studied. My bachelor's is in media studies. I know how the media works and what they function and what their target is. And it's not necessarily to bring you the news. It's what's going to make us the most money. And that's broadcasting whatever they want. That's going to get to the goal of making more money, getting more views, however it is, to boost themselves. And they don't realize that boosting themselves, they're literally tearing the entire world apart.
And I don't even think like media itself is not, at this point, it's not about what makes, well, it is what makes them money, because it's who's paying them to get their message across.
Right.
And that's all that is. I mean, I never thought I would fall into that group of like, the mainstream media is like, I can't trust, you can't trust any news outlet anymore.
It's okay to have shows that have hosts that sway their opinion.
Sure.
Don't call it the news.
Don't call it news.
No, and that's almost every news channel there is right now is somebody else's opinion, being slandered. It's not the facts of it. It's not going, let's take the emotion out of it. It's going, let's put more emotion into it because we want to get a rise out of people. We want that reaction. We want that attention. We want that money, you know?
Well, they need the emotion. The emotion to, like, the emotion is the control.
Yeah.
If they can control the emotion, they can control the way that the people make decisions.
Right.
So it's, anyway, like, all of that combined, like, if you think being a woman in this country is going to get easier in the next few years, no, it's going to get a million times harder before it gets better.
Right.
And I don't know what the breaking point is. I don't think anybody knows. I think there's a lot of people that have like the conspiracy theories of like what's going to happen and if there's going to be a rise of like this magical third party. No, typically what happens is there is a backswing to progress. This happens every time. Now, has it been as near as crazy? No, but the backswing to like the 1950s, like the 1950s was a backswing to like a huge progress.
Right.
And so you get to this place now, like women's rights, like the civil rights movement, and basically like, and then after the Vietnam War, the backswing to that was Ronald Reagan.
Right.
And that was the beginning, like that was the first backswing. And then that's where now the church was reintroduced into the government. And so, and it's been that way ever since. And it's been like a downhill slide ever since. But this is being a woman, it's tough enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So what threatens men the most? Like, just like general, like if you had to guess, what are like a generalization, what threatens men the most?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a loss of power.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is becoming, I don't know.
If you're in a place, so follow me here. So like if you have men in general, if they're in a place of position and power,
right,
the greatest threat is losing that.
Right.
100%. Historically, I mean, they fucking make movies based on it. Like it's fucking fact. It repeats itself over and again. Men are pretty predictable. They do the same shit over and over and over. Okay. So hard enough being a woman. So you challenge a man in a position of power. So what was one of the biggest challenges to men, wealthy men of power about, oh God, how long would that have been? 6 years ago. What was one of the biggest things that happened out there in the world that challenged the position of men about 6 years ago? The Me Too movement.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's one of the
biggest... I'm like, I know these things that are happening. I don't connect.
I'm questioning you on the spot. So connect the dots.
Yeah. Okay.
So now I think it had to happen. Because so many women are put in that position of, again, it's an abuse of power, and all these women that came forward, that's where it all stemmed from, right? So it started in Hollywood because these are very wealthy, very powerful men. So all this shit started to happen. People started getting canceled. So now now there was like a backswing. Like it's kind of like when you go off the side of the road, and you try to jerk the wheel back onto the road and the fucking car flips. Yeah, that's what happened. Like the Me Too movement started something very, very positive for women. Yes, and then cancel culture was the fucking car flipping. Yeah, and so who was pretty much the victim of most of cancel culture or the public cancellations? Men. Okay. Men of position, men of power, men of wealth. So I remember driving, Justin and I were having this whole really like interesting conversation. We were on a long car ride somewhere. And I'm like, all it's going to take is like one of these women, if it was one of the women in the Bill Cosby case, if it's one of these women, one of the, an actress, one of them to be a liar, like one of them just one of them, because then that's going to ruin it for everybody else. Now, I don't remember like a big, 40 women came forward to accuse Bill Cosby of sexual assault, and yet this one's the liar. Like people jumping on the bandwagon. But I'm like, can you imagine what would fucking happen if that did happen? Right. Cancel culture started. Now, again, it's the car flipping. It's the backswing. Right. And what did men do? They put their fucking foot down. Mm-hmm. And now what started to happen a few years later? All these laws start to change. Yeah. You can't tell me that's not, they talk about the Democrats being socialist. That's fucking like a dictatorship. Right. Like and a lot of people saying, oh, Christian nationalism, that's like, what's it such a bad thing about Christianity and the government? I don't know. Why don't you go over to fucking Iraq and Iran and see how religion taking over? But you're not, like, that's not your religion. But I'm just saying, like, and who suffered when those religions took over? Women. So, like, women. What could, like, we could be on the precipice of this, and what we know, and being a woman in this country could drastically change. Likely for the better, probably not. Like, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and that's what sucks. Right. So all you can do is, I mean, right now, like, the day-to-day shit, there's a lot of day-to-day shit of being a woman that you're gonna have to let roll off your back, because the more important shit's coming.
Right. And like, I can tell you, you know, when they overturned Roe v. Wade, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, right, getting the text from my mom, and we were both at work that day, getting a text from my mom that was like, girls, prepare to fight for women's rights more fiercely and ferociously than you ever have dreamed you would need to. Prepare to do battle. I am sickened and frightened that we as women are facing this egregious attack by the so-called Christian right. I stand with you, and I will do whatever it takes to fight for your women's rights. This is not about God. This is not about eternal salvation. This is about protecting a woman's right to make an informed choice about her body, to decide if and when to have a baby. Don't let the brainwashed hypocrites that praise a God that would force his will on half his children take your rights. Fuck religion. It's made by man. This is not the will of a higher being. This is the will of men to hold back women and strip them of power in the world, and power over their bodies. These are the same fucks that fought to be mandated to take a shot that could save their lives. They are the same people that support the death sentence, the same that support the Second Amendment and their ability to shoot to kill if someone sets foot on their property, but want to take away our rights to private health matters. There are some very evil souls on this earth, and most of them are hiding in plain sight and sit in the pews of churches. Churches we have been brainwashed to believe will set our spirits free in the afterlife are taking away our freedoms here on this earth. Fuck religion, fuck Christians, fuck any human that tells you that you will be punished for acting on your reproductive rights. No man will ever decide what is best for you. Don't ever be okay with that. I never dreamed that my children would have to face this situation. I'm so sorry that you are living in a world where this is a reality. And getting that text message, it was just like, oh God, man, my God.
That was amazing. And it is, but what she says is real. And I honestly think most women feel like that. Like, I think what you hear, the people, especially the women who are voicing, it's one of those things that should never be a fucking topic.
It's just take away everything, right? Take away everything. I'm pro-choice, not because I would get an abortion myself. I probably wouldn't, given the circumstance, obviously. You know, I say that now, you know, I probably wouldn't, but who am I to make a decision on somebody else's body?
Well, and you never, and here's the thing, it was in place for a reason.
Right.
It was in place for a reason. Now, the guys that are like, oh, it should have never been passed based on a technicality. I mean, fuck off.
Right.
You know, so are you telling me you're okay with watching these women have to go full term for babies that they know aren't going to survive, or the ones that have to almost be bleeding to death in the parking lot of a hospital before a hospital will do anything about it? Right. And if you're one of those men going, that's just the mainstream media feeding you bullshit, fuck off. Like, no, it's not. Like, the shit's really happening. And the shit's happening fucking locally. Like, we've seen it locally happening.
Those people, what's so crazy to me is all the people that I've heard, all the men, men and women that I have heard that are like, no, not in a million years, that have daughters. Mm-hmm. And it's going, oh my God. Like, regardless of if your daughter, when she's ready to take on that part of life and those responsibilities and consequences that come with actions, like, it's gonna hit you hard. You know,
it's healthcare.
You're not thinking about your daughters that are going through this. And I know plenty of right-wing people that are also like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
No, it should not be used as birth control.
No.
Shit happens. And it is healthcare, because it is required. I mean, what are they going to do? Like, I think there's even a gray area right now if you have, one, a miscarriage, but then two, a D&C after having a miscarriage.
Right.
Like, you want to prevent like getting sepsis, like that's the shit that has to happen.
Right.
And I was always of that mindset of like, hey, listen, I mean, if I would have gotten pregnant, a year after Gabrielle was born, would I've had an abortion? No.
But
probably not, because but it's my decision now, and that gives me no right. Just because I wouldn't at a particular time doesn't mean I wouldn't in a different scenario.
Right.
Because
well, I wholeheartedly believe the men that have passed this are not skipping a beat. Their mistresses and anybody else that they get pregnant is getting that type of health care.
Mm-hmm. And like, but if I'm 42. So if somehow my birth control failed and I got pregnant, it would be an option. Like it would be a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
No, my kids are grown. I had health problems with my two. I mean, I had two healthy babies, but I had two complicated pregnancies. So do I need to add 17 years of age on my body? You don't think that's going to add complications if I were to get pregnant out of nowhere?
It's to keep the middle and lower class where they are.
Right.
You cannot advance past this point.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our political rant for today. But
yeah, I know we said we weren't ever.
Said we weren't going to do. So we were going to do that. But it's kind of hand in hand, because I mean, it's just getting
more and more real every day. You can't ignore it. And
shit you didn't think you had to talk about, because I remember being where you are now, where you're at least more like, I think you're more politically educated at your age than what I was at your age, because things were just kind of like,
different.
It was different, but it's kind of like the.
But also, I'm the type of person that's not afraid to go, I don't know enough about that side of politics to have an opinion or even hold a conversation. I just know what I know as a woman, I guess.
Right.
Like there's some things politically that I can understand and grasp, but like this is just human rights.
Yeah, at this point, that's the only thing that's the thing that fuels my fire more than any of the other policies. It's the piggybacking of, and again, they do it on the other side in a totally different way. You just have to be more savvy to the political system to fucking catch it. These fuckers over here are just being blatant.
Right.
So it makes it's in our face,
Right.
And that's what's scary, because it's not just and it's not even just about, I mean, we brought it up because it was about women, but it's scary because right now what it seems that's going on in some of these states, it's back and forth. It's either it's either something against the LGBTQ community, or it's something in the education system related to the LGBTQ community, or it's something against women. So it's back and forth.
Well, the people that do this think that
you can clearly see who they hate.
Well, I was gonna say the people that have that hate are the same people that think masculinity and Christianity are a winning combination.
Right.
Anywho. Well, this one almost reached an hour, by the way.
Did it really?
Yeah, we started we ended the last one at 2:45. It's 3:48.
I'll just be like, stay strong, women. Like, we're all here to support one another. We should all be here to help one another. The female, like, if you're in politics, and if you're a woman in politics, you got to preserve what you can, because shit's gonna get weird.
Yeah.
And women business,
or if you were a woman in corporate America or dealing with just these type of issues that we've talked about, obviously feel free to reach out to us and talk with us, because we want to provide that sort of safe place for women, not only in corporate America, but just in general, being a decent human and supporting the people around you that obviously need it.
And just to kind of talking about the political side of things. I mean, you may not agree with what I have to say, and we may not agree on certain things politically. That doesn't mean you can't support one another. Especially, it doesn't mean that you can't cheer somebody else on when they are doing well. What you believe politically, what you believe religiously, that doesn't mean, that's that whole thing. If you can still be friends and you can still come together and find commonality as a woman, because no matter what side of the fence you're on, the fact that you are a woman, either in business ownership, entrepreneurship, or whatever your journey is, we still face some of the things that we talked about early on this podcast together. Everybody to some degree faces that, and the only people that we have are each other.
Right.
So, support your fellow woman. And
Yes.
support, like, be there as be there for someone, for that person to talk to and lean on. And that's why we were involved in some of the groups that we're involved in, because it's just if we tear one another down, and
we're no better than them,
right, because of if we tear each other down because of opinionating, like, different opinions on different views, we're no better than the men trying to take rights away. So, and you may not view it that way, and I mean, bless your heart if that's the way you view it. And I hope for everybody's sake that it doesn't get as bad as I think it's going to get, but
right.
But I think it's going to get bad. so band together and support one another.
Yes.
And we'll all survive the apocalypse together.
We'll try. We'll try. If you are looking for any advice, if you're looking to hear a topic, if you're looking to just have a conversation, you can reach out to us on our Instagram, which is at F__K your pod, or you can email me at Emma@99creatives or Katy
at Katy@99creatives.
Yeah, like we said, support one another, be a kind human,
right?
Treat others with respect,
right?
And do the damn thing.
Adios.
Bye.